Well, good to have you back from that break. Many thanks, Mano Biso, for that report there. Okay, let me quickly get to the chairman-elect of Calabar South. Madam, from the 18 local government results that were announced yesterday by the chairman, we noticed majority of your colleagues, it was just like an easy going for them. They don't have made serious opposition. Now, do you think that that was a clear reflection of the people's mandate on your colleagues, on your party, supposing that there was a stiff opposition that PDP would have still survived?
Yes, even if they had it. I had in Calabar South. And because the people have been able to see what the governor is doing, if you check the appointments the governor has given right now, we have so many people who are doing APC. They are in APC. They are special advisors in Ayade's government. They are special assistants. They are also in other parties. His Excellency has been able to bring that closeness, that synergy among other parties, showing them that whether you're doing other party, let's come together and see the state run to a better place. And then, I will not expect anybody, after having all that, you still go ahead to work against him. He has been able to have the garment factory. You could see what the garment factory is being announced in all the states in Nigeria. We are able to sit down to produce a lot of nose masks for people. Other states were asking for it. If we didn't have such garment factory, I don't think we'd have gotten our names written in the good book of the country. It doesn't say gone so much that other states are crying that there's COVID-19. The controversy is the only state that don't have that. Today people can walk freely with our nose mask, and we don't have such thing in controversy. It's all through his efforts. All see such good thing that will not support the government of the day. The women, of course, if you notice, those that come out mostly for elections are women. And so if you have women, so many women in the body, in the executive arm of government, why won't you come out and vote? That's my take, because I know that they were doing it out of their own conscience, knowing that they're benefiting so much from the government. They came out to show that they're supporting the government of the day. Okay,
let me still stick on you, Madam Chairman. The opposition at some point pulled out of the election with they had this belief, or so to say, they had this assertion that there was no sufficient time given to them by Crosshair to stand for election. What's your take on that?
No, there was enough time if you want to say that. Election was postponed because of COVID-19. And if you check the constitution of the electoral board, it says that when that is done, 7 days. And now the 7 days can be given to us, because you were all already prepared for the election to take place. They just postponed it. So 7 days, they should check. They did not pull out. They have two factions in their party. The other side said they are out. The other side said they are there. We didn't mind that. We all went ahead. If you check, most of them didn't even go out for campaign. They didn't go around to give anything. Our parties were doing palliatives. They all went around giving things to the people. Why won't the people come and say, thank you for your efforts? So we shall not say that the South, we are from the PDP and all that. No, we're all ready. We all did. And the electoral body, the Crosshair chairman, knew the law very well. So they should go and check the law when the election is being postponed. It's just 7 days that is given back to the electorate to be prepared for the next election. Thank you.
Okay, but let me still stick on you. The idea is that at some point we get feelers also from the APC that PDP was sponsoring the serious crack they had in their party. Do you think this is in any form true?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that there was something like that. It was just a misconception by some of our people. And I think right now they've been able to be told the right thing to do and what happened. Was that some members, whenever you have a group of people, you expect some people to think negatively and positively. So I think right now the party is back, and there's that understanding among the members of the party.
I need to also respond to that. The people said PDP had sponsored the other faction that stood in for the election. Can you affirm or debunk that?
The truth of the matter is that a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. They had a history of division in their party, where they lost Zamfara in the same crisis, they lost Imo State in the same crisis, they lost almost everything in Cross River State in the same crisis. But not forgot that they had to win Abi's federal constituency, Abi Yako federal constituency. Exact scenario, played out again in these local government elections. While we were in the street campaigning and sensitizing the people to see they need to come and vote for the grassroots elections, they were busy sleeping. And now, when the project came up with another timetable giving us 7 days, we had already prepared, like she's talking about palliative, we've done our part. I personally sunk a borehole in support of what the governor's wife was doing for State Housing Primary School. It's a part of campaigning. I did all of these going from nooks and crannies, to see how I can canvass for support. They were there sleeping, only for them to wake up in the morning. A faction of it said they are pulling out of the elections, and the other faction said they are part of the elections. In my polling unit, in my local government, I had a candidate from APC and Labour Party, but they were busy sleeping, not doing anything, and I was in the street campaigning, and these elections had lingered for close to 4 years, So nobody will have any reason to say he wasn't prepared at any point in time.
Okay, let me also stick on you before I take on the next. Do you think one-party system is held enough for democracy? Because if you have a stiff opposition always there as a check and balance on the leading party, it will keep you or keep your party on toes to ensure you provide the necessary dividends of democracy. Do you think that is healthy that only one party had it all through?
Well, you don't blame a child who goes to school and has the best result. Cross River State is in a PDP traditional state. That's what I need to assure you. And they cannot just achieve that if the government of the day weren't performing from inception. Look at like what she was trying to explain of what the governor was doing or is doing till recent times. Somebody who came and placed a record that has never been. Over 4,000-5,000 appointments, putting food on people's table, frustrated people who never had any reason to be named among government appointees. Ayade was able to expand the government. And we are trying much as possible. We've been talking to ourselves to see how we can do same in the grassroots, in the local government, to see how we can partner with the government and open up the government for the people to have what to eat. That is exactly what the state stands for, and that's why the PDP as a party is continuing to be very stronger and stronger and stronger by day. It's because they have, a standard of performance.
Okay, let me find out one more thing, which is a major monster in Calabar metropolis. We could extend it to Cross River and other parts of Nigeria, and that's the issue of cultism. And so looking at you, you are a youthful leader. How are you going to address this issue? Because it's a big problem. Some days to the election, the government of Cross River State had declared 35 young men suspected cultists wanted. How are you going to address this issue of cultism and bring it to a conclusive end, if possible?
If I have my way, I think I completely such, dirty activities. It doesn't end well. If you want to look at the number of persons, healthy men that have lost their life in that direction, then you will be regretting your whole life. So I'll do everything humanly possible, like I said, partnering with agencies to ensure we kill completely, or to an extent. We cannot just deplete it completely. To an extent, we will stop cultism. We need to sensitize the young, both from primary school. And let me tell you something. This thing has been injected to the primary school level, where the ones who are growing will begin to put up a cluster and begin to name some nonsense names for themselves. And we need to go into those areas and sensitize them on the need to stay off these dirty vices and all of that. So we'll do our best in that direction.
Madam, you are coming into a local government that has a very terrible stigma as far as violence is concerned, cultism is concerned. Let me quickly lay a foundation. I remember a day I went out and I was somewhere in municipality, and a very big man asked me where I'm from. I said, I'm from Calabar South. The way he looked at me, I was quickly to tell him, look, it is not everybody in Calabar South that you paint that stigma on. But we will still say that cultism is a big problem in Calabar South. As a matter of fact, once you go outside Cross River and you make mention of Calabar South, the first thing that they look at you again, they see you in the eye of violence. How are you going to handle this? Mainly the issue of cultism.
I want to start by thanking. I said it before. His Excellency for what he has done. Many homes have been burnt down. Buildings dropped. Because why? If you're a cultist, you're being caught, the law will take its course. And I'm not going back on that. I will not, by any means, accept the law itself would take a deep course on any of them. I keep saying it when I went out to campaign that drop the guns, ask for peace, I can get it. Whatever you want, and you want the government to do for you, come to our table. We're ready to open our doors to accept you back. But if you're caught, the law will enforce on you to the latter. Nobody will joke about that.
Most definitely. Just as we do a wrap now, my mayor incoming. We understand the situations that we are now, and that is the COVID-19 period. A lot of people are going through quite a lot. The economy is really shaking. What would you do for your people vis-a-vis the COVID-19 pandemic?
If you listen to one of the interviews by His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, our digital governor, he talked about giving us food and money, and COVID-19 will completely stay away. All the people want is what to eat. If there is money in the system, if there is what to eat in the system, then your immune system will be stronger enough to fight any, disease of that magnitude. But I want to tell us that, like I had said earlier, we are going to open up the government to empower the young. Try much as possible to create skill acquisition, try much as possible to reach out educationally for our people, try much as possible to open up the government for the people to participate in it. That is exactly what we want to do to checkmate these areas and also sensitize our people on the need to stay safe from this pandemic. Like she had said earlier, the governor has done very much in that direction to ensure Cross River State remains COVID-19 free.
Exactly. Madam, let me also get your own COVID-19 palliative for your people.
Yes, I already started it, and I know I will not stop at what I have started. I kept saying that I am ready to give you that boat where we'll go together and fish. Let's go. It will be better. We'll do a lot of palliative. We'll take our people out of the streets. We'll help for the vulnerable in our society. They are ready to support and help them out of that space. To support the governor, who is ready to support us here too, to make sure that there is food on the table for our people. We'll do that for the government, and I know that I believe in action, not words. Thank you.
Mrs. Esther Bassey, the elected chairman of Calabar South local government area, and Eke Efionta, the incoming mayor of Calabar municipality. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the show this afternoon. I'm sure we will take you by your words, and time to time we bring you on to have you address your people, because all we need is an amazing administration at the local government area. Thank you. It's Field Across River Decides 2020 studios here in CRBC TV Calabar. My name is Joseph, and stay with us. More would come in a very short while.